بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما الحمد لله. Fellow learners, you are all welcome once again in continuation with our studies of Nahu with a different methodology as well as content. We are happy to have met again. Again, we will start by recapping to say, in the first place, we have now come to realize that Arabic as a language needs to be demystified, and the fact that it is the language of Al-Quran, it is incumbent on every Muslim to learn. However, the purpose for our learning should be to understand Al-Quran and to make Al-Quran easier to comprehend. And everything that we will do in that regard is commendable. And everything that we will do to make it happen should really be the focus of some of us who are ulama and some of us who are teachers. If Arabic is made difficult to understand, or if it is made to seem to be difficult, then really we are not making, we are doing a disservice to ourselves and to our religion as Islam, because Quran, which is the main constitution of this particular religion of ours, cannot just be made difficult. Allah himself has told us as that وَلَقَدْ يَسَّرْنَا الْقُرْآنَ لِلذِّكْرِ فَهَلْ مِن مُدَّكِّرٍ. And so there is no need to make understanding of the language difficult. And also, if we are ready to understand the Quran, then not necessarily should we be speaking the language actually. So this is the focus of this particular course, to say, well, you don't speak Arabic, but there are certain rules of the Arabic language that you can have, particularly when you can read a common Arabic statement. Then you should be able to know those rules that govern the language. And when you follow them, you will really, as a person, benefit. And then if you want to also share with others, very easy to do so. So some people have developed a method to make it easy. And so that is the course of our meeting, to see how easy we can break down those cumbersome hitherto, rules and so scattered and shattered structure, to come and say, well, look, you don't really have to get scared. Anytime you hear any ayah, any verse, any Arabic statement, just put in your mind that this ayah or the whole of this surah is made up of 3 words. It's either the word is an ism, a fa'il, or a harf. If I'm able to detect what an ism is, for instance, when we said no ism takes sukoon, for instance, any word you see with a sukoon is not an ism, right? If Quran, you see a written Quran and you go through any word you see, because the Quran has all the harakat, right? So any ism you see with the sukoon is not an ism. Perfect. Now that makes it easy for you, right? Any kalima or any word also you see, you see with a kisra, for instance, can never be a fail. Well, that's interesting. Okay. So, and that is why we said the UAE, this Fatah Kisra Dhamma, the perfection in knowing what they really mean and what they do in the Arabic language is actually the actual thing about this language. If a kalima has Dhamma or Fatah, it can be ism, it can be fail. Now you know it. If it has Rafa or Dhamma or Fatah, it can be ism, it can be fail. But Sukoon can only be associated with fails, or of course some harfs. But of course, with regards to harfs, any harf you see does not change. It's non-flexible, right? It cannot change. So if it is having sukoon, it's sukoon always. If it is having r at the end, it's r always. If it's having fatha, it's a fatha always. All those non-flexible things are there. But when you talk of the ORE, somebody will be saying, oh, how can I see, how do I, determine if it is changing between an ism and a fi'l? There are those things, those markers that we use to identify the isms and the fi'ls. And those things are what we are just focusing on and making it easy for us. After you have known the isms, fi'ls, the harfs, then you come to know what the fragments are, which we are going to discuss today, inshallah. But the first thing is kalimat. What kalima is it? If you are not able to know how many kalima are in this ayah and what kinds of kalima are they, please forget. Understanding Quran will be something for you, different. You can understand the language, but understanding Quran, you need these skills. Language, take the person to Saudi Arabia or Egypt or Lebanon, 3 months, leave him in the people there. He will speak the language. But to understand the Quran, you need to understand the Nahu aspect of it. Not all Arabs understand the Quran, by the way. Yes, not all Arabs can read and understand what the Quran is saying. So the Quran has those rules, the Nahus and the Sarfs and the Balagha. So it needs conscious effort to learn in order to understand it. So that misunderstanding of the saying that let's learn Arabic. If you learn Arabic, then you understand the Quran. It's not true. It's not true, please. We have to re-put this. To understand the Quran, you need to know the language of Al-Quran, and that is Arabic of Al-Quran, right? Anyway, this is just a motivation for myself and all of you that we are really on a good course for ourselves, for the Ummah, and definitely between ourselves and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If today I read Surah Al-Ikhlas, for instance, I read Qul Huwa Allahu Ahad, and I know that there are this number of words in this ayah, and the kind of words are ism, fail, harf, or fail, harf, ism, ism. Absolutely, I'm just starting to know, this is the action, and then I'll look at the dua and the done to and all those things. I'm good to go as a person. And as a teacher in madrasa, it's easy for me then to start teaching the children, even from day one, what the grammatical aspect of the language is. We shouldn't wait until the child is in Thani I'dadi or Thalith I'dadi secondary school for him to know the Nahu. I really needed to do this because a lot of the time sharing this is very important to demystify this issue about language and then the difficulty of Arabic and those things, May Allah give us the understanding. Now, let's go back to our lessons. We have learned all about ism, the 4 properties of an ism, right? An ism is just one type of kalima, right? And within that, we are able to know that, okay, any ism will have an SNGT, which is the status, number, gender type. What is a status? A status is either an ism be in rafa status, nasb status, or jar status. Very interesting. So this rafa, nasb, jar, what is it? How do I know? How do I tell if an ism is in rafa, nasb, or jar status? Just look at the ending of the word. If the ending is having a sound, then it can either be a singular word or a broken plural, right? But if it's having a combination, then it can either be a pair word or a plural. Very important. These things need to be marked. What is this? A, I, U, and then ani, ani, aini, aini, and then una, ina, and then atun, atin. What are they? Or let me go horizontally. The ani, una, atun, and then an, aini, ina, atin, and then in, aini, ina, atin. What are they? These are the ending sounds and ending combinations. These are what you see at the ending of every kalima. Or no, the ism, the fi'ls, and the harfs, and so on. So if I'm able to master those and what they do, so any word that is in the una or u or ani, that's rafa status, is either a subject or a doer of an action. Okay, very important. An example. And every kalima that is in the status of nasb, either a or ani, a or aini, or ina or atin, of course, a for a singular word, and aini if it is pair, and then ina if it is plural masculine, and atin if it is feminine masculine, plural. sorry, feminine plural word. So atin is for feminine plural word, but in nasb status. Any word in these kinds of endings and sounds of that kind of ending is an object or a victim of an action. And any word also which is in jar status, having e if it is a singular word, aini if it is a pair word, or ina if it is plural masculine, or atin if it is feminine masculine, feminine plural, sorry, feminine plural, then it is in jar status. And being in jar status, we have instances. Either the word is preceded by a harf that causes the jar, or it is a word after off in translation, right? So basically, this is what we have learned about ism, and we will do quick practices and exercises today. And when we move from that and now go into fragments today, you will realize how easy it is really for us to make up or understand the ism in its totality. If you are able to get to know ism and know the status, and then you know the number. Of course, the number we spoke about yesterday, we said the number is either singular, pair, or plural, right? And the number is also still in that the u, ani, una that we spoke about. Because the u is singular or un, ani is pair, and una is plural. So we are still actually working on the number also there. And when we work on the Muslimun and then Muslimatun is about the gender, okay? And then the type is if an ism is considered, by default, all isms are considered common until if those 7 things that we mentioned yesterday happen to it. For instance, alif and lam makes an ism proper. And if an ism is being called, it makes it also proper. And so on, names of places, names of persons, and so on. And so to the issue of being common or proper, or the issue of it being masculine or feminine, we said by default, every ism is common. By default, every ism is masculine until some things happen before they become either proper or feminine, respectively. Okay? Ism is a lot of those things, but that is the most important aspect of these 3 words. If you understand them well, the rest will follow, because as I said yesterday, that part of the word or that kind of a word is the most occurring in the language, and that's why it has a lot of things to understand about it. Okay, and I also mentioned that if we want to really understand ism, then we should keep in mind that table that we drew, the table that has the numbers there, then the status going down. If you are able to know the number, the status, very important 2 things. Then, of course, the gender is just about changing the word, and then the type is what we spoke about yesterday. Very important. Okay, so we will take that table again to make that table well with us. Let me share my screen, and then I will have some of the volunteers to run me through the Muslim chart again. Volunteers, get ready. I need a volunteer. Let me see one volunteer's hand raised. Okay. The volunteer shouldn't be any student who has attended this course before, please. The volunteer needs to be someone who is new for him to run me through the table that we discussed about yesterday. Okay. You can see my screen. I hope you can see my screen now. Okay, good. I hope you can now see my screen. Can you see my screen, please? Can you see my screen, please? Please stay alert, because I'm going to start calling names. If you don't raise your hands for you to do the volunteer, I will start calling names, okay? Oh, okay. Can you all see my screen, please? Okay, good. Get ready. I will start calling names, okay? I'll start calling you for you to do the Muslim chart, right? Before we go into fragments. If I don't see anybody raise his hand in the next 10 seconds, I will I will call a name to help me do the Muslim chart, because I'm going to take the Muslim chart off and then I will try asking you some questions. So please raise up your hand and rescue the class. One person should raise up his hand and rescue the class. Now I'm still waiting. Anyone to raise up his or her hand to rescue the class, to do the Muslim chart. Okay, Kamal Din Said has raised his hand. And so let's see, Brother Kamal, I would wish that you unmute yourself. Okay, Brother Kamal, please unmute yourself. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. Wa alaikum salam.
MashaAllah, how are you, brother?
I'm fine.
Good, good. Okay, when you see these three words, what does it tell you on the top? Mufrad, Muthanna, Jama. What does it mean?
Mufrad means singular.
Yes.
Muthanna means dual.
Yes.
And then Jamo means plural.
Very good. What do they stand for in the context of what we have learned?
They stand for the Rafu Nasu. They stand for the idiom, whether it is dual or singular.
Yes. So what do we? Jamo. Yes. Very good. What concept? What word do you use for that? In terms of the kinds of yes.
The number.
Absolutely. Number. So this is the number of an ism, correct? So every ism has this number, right?
Yeah.
Very good. So this is the number. Yes. And then we put some things on the right side here. What property was here, this side?
That was the Rafa Nasib Jar.
Which is the? What do they represent?
They represent the Arab.
There is an English word. This one is the number. And what is here? Let me bring it because you've already mentioned them. So let me bring them for us to see. Okay, so this side, right? Rafa Nasb Jar. What do they represent?
Yeah, the status.
Absolutely.
They represent the status.
The status. So they represent the status, right? Very good. So if they represent the status,
yes.
So the Rafa Nasb Jar will represent the status. So let me show you this now. Probably hold on. Let me just do that. Show you. Let me change the screen now. Let me change the screen now, and then let me show you what I want us to work on quickly. We'll just take a little time with this because it's very, very important as part of our course study. Okay, so let me show you this screen rather. Okay, so you see what you have just mentioned for me, Mr. Kamal, right? This is what you are saying, right?
Yes, please.
So mufrad is singular, muthanna is dual, and then jamu is plural, and then rafa nasb jar, right?
Yes.
So we say this is the status and this is the number, right?
Yes.
Very good. Now, you realize now that every ism that I bring here, under here, and under here, and under here, or here, or here, or here, you should be able to tell me how it will sound. The ending sound for all the singular, and then the ending combination for all the plurals and the duals, right?
Yes, inshallah.
Right? Very good. So I want to use the
Yes.
word salihun. Salihun. Now the word salihun, I want you to conjugate or put it into a declension. You are going to change it from singular rafa status, pair rafa status, and then plural rafa status. And then you put it into nasb status, singular, pair, plural, and into jar status, singular, pair, plural. Do that for the word salihun.
So salihun for singular.
No, I will just look at my
Salihan.
mouse. No, just look at my mouse. Can you see the mouse? So what will be here?
Yes, please.
What will be here?
Salihun.
What will be here?
Saliha.
Aidan, no, at the beginning you say salihun.
Now.
So this will be what?
Saliha.
Why did, okay, here you said hun, and here you are saying ha. Why?
Because it is nasb.
What about, so here, what about the rafa? If you say salihu, there's difference between salihu and salihan. Sorry, salihu and salihun, correct?
Yes, please.
What is the difference between salihun and salihu?
Salihun is heavy and salihu is light.
Absolutely correct. Excellent. Excellent so far. Now, if you are going to give me all heavy, then give me all heavy. If you are going to give me all light, you give me all light.
Okay, okay.
So now give me all heavy.
So salihun, salihan.
Very good. Here.
Salihin.
Very good. Look at my mouse. Look at where my mouse is. Here.
Yeah. Jam.
What is here? Here.
Salihun.
Very good. What is here?
Salihin.
Be careful. Again.
Salihin.
Very good. What is at the top here?
Salihan.
What is down here?
Salihin.
Very good. What is at the top here?
Salihin.
Very good. What is in the middle here?
Salihan.
Aidan?
Salihin.
Very good. That is good. So you gave me here salihun, salihan, and salihin. So now I have mixed it up for you to ensure that you know how they move, right? How they move around for the rafa level, the nasb level, and the jar level. So I'm going to take you horizontally. So do this, that, and let me see. Salihun.
Salihun. Salihan. And salihun.
Very good. Nasb.
Salihan. Salihin. And salihin.
Very good. Jar.
Salihin. Salihin. And salihin.
Very good. Now change the word into feminine.
Salihah.
No. This is nahu. In nahu you don't say. Very good. Salihatun. Okay. Very good. So salihatun.
Salihatan.
Very good. Salihatuna.
Salihatun.
Are you sure?
Salihat, salihat.
Aywa. Salihatun. You see how that is how the plural feminine is. So plural feminine will always have the atun, right? Very good. Sorry, I was just pulling your legs there. Give me the nasb of salihah. Salihatun. The nasb will become what?
Salihatun.
Nasb.
Salihatan.
Aywa. Muthanna.
Salihatan.
Muthanna.
Salihatain. Salihatain.
Very good. And then jam'u.
Salihatin.
Mumtaz. Then jar singular.
Salihatin.
Very good. Muthanna.
Salihatain.
Very good. And jam'u.
Salihatin.
Mumtaz, mumtaz, mumtaz. Now all you have done is to give me all the masculine and feminine of the word salih or salihun. Now, then you have also given me all the status, the number, okay?
Yes.
Yes, the status and then the number and then the gender. Now you are going to give me, you made all heavy. Now you are going to give me the light form of what you have just done, the light form. Starting from here, the masculine.
So Salihu.
Mumtaz. Here, let's go, no, let's go horizontal. Okay, Salihu,
Salihan.
Light.
Saliha.
Mumtaz. Saliha. Then the jam'u.
Salihu.
Mumtaz. The nasb. Singular.
Salihi.
Nasb. Nasb.
Saliha.
Mumtaz. Pair.
Salihi.
Mumtaz. And then the jam'u.
Saliha.
Aidan. Masculine. Plural. Remember the heavy. If you remember the heavy, you just pull out the nun or the n sound. That's what you do. Just remember the heavy form and then you remove the n sound. That's all we do. You remember what you said here in the, you perfectly said it in the heavy, yes? No. Remember you are doing the singular. Okay, sorry, you are doing the masculine. Sorry, you are doing the masculine.
Salihu.
You are not at the rafa level, you are at the nasb level. So Kamaldeen, you see how it is when you put your talamis under the spot and you ask them to read. And
Salihu.
Aidan.
Salihi.
Salihi, mumtaz. What about the jar singular?
Salihu. Salihi.
Salihi. If it is pair.
Salihi.
Very good. If it is pair.
Salihi.
La, pair. Remember the pair. Pair is always I.
Yeah. So Salihi.
Salihai, mumtaz. And then the plural. Jar. Masculine.
Salihati.
Masculine plural.
Salihu.
La, masculine plural light. Just remember Salihu. No, you remember. We remember here you said
Salihi.
Yes, it's Salihi. Salihi. Actually, what you do is, it's very easy. If you are able to do the heavy, all you are going to do for the light is to drop the nun or to drop the n sound in the tanween. Very easy, right? Kamaldeen, very good. You have done so marvelously well. Jazakallah anna kulla khair. Thank you. You can mute yourself now. We will go from here. But just to remind you, let me just go over what you have so well done in this particular drill. You know, what we say is this table need to be put in mind that anytime I see an ism, I should be able to know if it is in rafa status, nasb status, jar status, if it is singular, pair, plural, and also the gender, if it is masculine or feminine, and the type, if it is common or proper. These four status, the two most complex ones are the status and the number. And that's why we put it here, or it is in this table, so that you master them. And so when I put salihun here, or salihun, or muslimun here, muslimun, and then I say muslimani, muslimuna, musliman, muslimaini, muslimina, muslimin, muslimaini, and then muslimina. These are all heavy, but masculine. And I've taken it through this, the properties of status and number. And I can make it muslimatun to be feminine. So muslimatun, muslimatani, muslimatun, and then muslimatan, muslimataini, muslimatin, and muslimatin, muslimataini, muslimatin. These are all heavy words. Kalimat thaqila. Thaqila means the ending is heavy with the n sound. The n sound makes it heavy. Okay? Un, an, in the case of rafa nasb jar. And then ani, aini, aini here. And then una, ina, and ina. And if it is feminine, the difference here is that it will be atun, atin, atin. Okay, so the make it heavy. When we say we should make it light, very easy. Just remove the n sound. So instead of muslimun, I will say muslimu, muslimani, muslima, muslimuna, muslimu, musliman, I will say muslima. Muslimaini, I will say Muslimai. Muslimina, I will say Muslimi. And then the jar status Muslimin, I will say Muslimi. And then Muslimaini, Muslimi. And then Muslimina, Muslimi. And don't forget, always the jar and nasb of pair and plural are always the same. Okay? Pair and plural are always the same. Okay? So this is very important for us to share today. And so we will move from here now and probably do this. Okay. So this is what we were sharing. Mufrad, Muthanna, Jamu. And then we have Muslimun, Muslimani, Muslimuna for Rafa. And then Musliman, Muslimaini, Muslimina for Nasb. And then Muslimin, Muslimaini, Muslimina for Jar. Okay. And when we look at the feminine, we have Muslimatun, Muslimatani, Muslimatun for Rafa, Muslimatan, Muslimataini, Muslimatin for Nasb, and then Muslimatin, Muslimataini, Muslimatin for Jar. These are what we call the normal, with the normal plurals. But with the ones with the broken plurals, we have an example of Rasulun, Rasulani, Rusulun for Rafa, and then Rasulan, Rasulaini, and Rusulan for Nasb, and then Rasulin, Rasulaini, and Rusulin for Jar. Non-human broken plurals, we have Kalamun, Kalamani, Aklamun for Rafa, Kalaman, Kalamaini, Aklaman for Nasb, and Kalamin, Kalamaini, and Aklamin for Jar. Okay. Now the next thing we are going to check today is the pronoun. Pronoun, very important aspect of the ism. In fact, now listen to me very carefully. I'm going to take a 2-minute break and come back. But believe me, before I come back, I will be ready to do something. It's a drill, but you need to go with me so that we will quickly know this thing called pronoun. And it is known as the Al-Amud al-Faqri lil-Lugha al-Arabiyya, the backbone of the language. Stay tuned with us, and we'll come back after 3 minutes. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I hope you can all hear me. Assalamu alaikum. MashaAllah. Okay. Now, this is a very important exercise, and I would like every one of you to be very attentive. We are not learning this thing, as I've always been saying. Pardon me, respectful learners. We are not learning good new things in the whole of things that I'm teaching. All what we are doing is, look, we are putting it in a different arrangement, different method of teaching it, right? That's how I taught it. Sorry, that's how I learned it some very few years back. And I'm just trying to share it with you also. As I said, I have taught now more than 15 years before I came to realize that there is a different way to teach Nahu in this part of the world. And so it's just a matter of saying, خيركم من تعلم القرآن وعلمه. The best of you is are those who learn Quran and also teach it. Okay, and if we have learned how to understand Quran better, I think it's incumbent on us to share. And so that is basically it. I'm sure. I mean, this issue about Arabic and how Arabic is taught, and even how some of our maluma will tell us is very difficult. So you are already scared. You have been put off, you know. And then all your life you think, no, this one it cannot be done. You just go through it. At the end of the day, you wouldn't know, because and she might not got a Larabci and so on. But these things can be minimized if we are able at least to understand the Quran directly, because that's the purpose. Even our mothers and grandmothers will tell us that we were asked to go and learn the Arabic actually to understand the Quran, not to be speaking it, actually, So what we are doing is to see how best we can make this thing easy, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has also told us. So pronouns, we know it in Arabic, right? I'm sure if I say, give me the pronouns now, a lot of you will write the pronoun. But there are easy ways to package it for a student. That's what we are going to learn here. Now, just listen to me and watch me. And please, whatever I say you should do, just do. I mean, keep whatever pronouns you know at the back of your mind, whatever arrangement you have for it at the back of my mind, and then listen to me very carefully. And let's do this. In 10 minutes, we should be done with the pronouns. And then I'll get a volunteer here. Now, the pronouns, the first thing I want to tell you is that the pronouns are also isms. So note that a pronoun is an ism. Right? So it's a kind of word and it's an ism, number one. Number two, pronoun is so special that apart from the four properties, SNGT, the pronoun has a P. So it's PSNGT. A pronoun will have a P. And that P is a person. What is a person? A shakhs. Okay? So PSNGT is particularly for a pronoun. So we say a pronoun has a status, a number, gender, type. However, it also has a person. So the person of the pronoun is important. And how many are the persons? Three. Either al-mutakallim, the first person, al-mukhatab, the second person, or al-ghaib, the third person. So this is the peculiar thing about a pronoun. Pronoun is an ism, yes. It has all the SNGT, the status, number, gender, type, yes. But then it also has a person. Note this very important about the pronoun. Now, then I would like us to now put the pronoun into our minds. Very easy to remember. How do we do that? We are going to arrange it according to the person. Note, according to the person. And we'll start from the third person, line 1, second person, line 2, third person, line 3. Okay? So we have 3 lines. Third person will be at the top, third, not first. Third. The third person will be at the top, the second person in the middle, and the first person below. Now, draw those 3 lines in your mind now. Just draw 3 lines. Don't worry. Just draw 3 lines. 3 خطوط. 1 2 3. الخط الأول للغائب، والخط الوسط للمخاطب، والخط الأخير للمتكلم. Are you done? Good. Now we will start from the right top corner. The right top corner. Okay? Right top corner. Don't forget, we are starting from the right top corner. Now, listen to me very carefully. When I say any harf I say, you say that, okay? But before I do that, we are going to arrange the top line into 3, singular pair plural. Singular pair plural, okay? Singular pair plural. So mufrad, muthanna, jam. So the first line will have those 3. You remember that table we just spoke about, our table, right? Singular pair plural. But on the right side, sorry, at the right side of your table, we would not have the rafa nasb jar. Note, what we were going to have is third person, second person, and first person. Very good. So first person, third person, second person, first person. And then within each line, we have masculine, then feminine. Masculine, then feminine, masculine, then feminine. So in effect, we are having 6 lines. The 3 lines is divided by, we're divided into 2, masculine, feminine, masculine, feminine, masculine, feminine. Okay? And they are also in that way, in the horizontal line, they are in singular pair plural. I hope the line is drawn now well. You can draw it in your mind. You can also draw it on the paper as we are speaking. Good. Now let's start the memorization. I don't care how you do it, but we have to do it. We are going to memorize this, please. We don't have any way to go. This is just, sorry. Yes, we are saying we shouldn't be memorizing and cramming, but this you have to memorize it. How you are drawing it in your mind, I don't know. But for me, this is how it is. Now say after me, huwa. Forget about all the pronouns you know, but you know the huwa, right? So let's say huwa. Huma, hum. Aidan, huwa. Huma, hum. Aidan, huwa, huma, hum. So that's the topmost line. And that is the masculine line. And that is the singular pair plural, right? Huwa, huma, hum. Again, huwa, huma, hum. Aidan? Very good. Let's go to the next one. Hiya, huma, hunna. Hiya, huma, hunna. Hiya, huma, hunna. So, huwa, huma, hum. Hiya, huma, hunna. Very good. Aidan, huwa, huma, hum. Hiya, huma, hunna. You realize that that is all the pronouns at the third person level in Arabic. Huwa, huma, hum. Hiya, huma, hunna. And you can hear the ho, 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 ha, ha, ha. All the ones with the ha, 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 ha are the third person pronouns. So, huwa, huma, hum for the masculine. Hiya, huma, hunna for the feminine. Singular pair plural, respectively. So we are finished with the third person. Can you say it together with me? Huwa, huma, hum. Hiya, huma, hunna. Very good. So we are done with the third person. Aidan, huwa, huma, hum. Hiya, huma, hunna. Can you say that very fast? Very good. Huwa, huma, hum. Hiya, huma, hunna. Huwa, huma, hum. Hiya, huma, hunna. Huwa, huma, hum. You sit down there and be doing huwa, huwa, hum. Huma, you will come out. I'm going to get some of the volunteers up, and then we will hear it from you. So you are alone. You have to say it and shout. Please, if you are alone, particularly if all the room is closed and all the windows are closed, shout and be saying it. I love saying it, and it became part of me. Huwa, huma, hum. Hiya, huma, hunna. Aidan, huwa, huma, hum. Hiya, huma, hunna. So that is the third person. He, both of them masculine, all of them feminine. then she, both of them feminine, all of them feminine. Isn't that interesting? So all the pronouns that are having her are all in the third person. Okay? Very good. Now let's come to the second person, the second line. The second person is also made up of masculine, feminine. Masculine, feminine, but second person, mukhatab. Anta, antuma, antum. Can you say that? Anta, antuma, antum. Anta, antuma, antum. And then anti, antuma, antunna. Anti, antuma, antunna. And in this line, you realize something is very common. Ant, right? Anta, antuma, antum, anti, antuma, antunna. So anything that is sounding ant is about second person. Mukhatab. Isn't that interesting? All the ho are for the third persons, and all the ant is all for the second person, right? Again, anta, antuma, antum, anti, antuma, antunna. Aidan. Very good. So we have now seen huwa, huma, hum, hiya, huma, hunna, anta, antuma, antum, anti, antuma, antunna, huwa, huma, hum, hiya, huma, hunna, anta, antuma, antum, anti, antuma, antunna. We are finished with the two lines. We have only one line to go. Okay? And each line there are two other lines, right? Or two lines in each line. And those two lines represent masculine, feminine only. Okay, but third person, second person. Okay, so huwa, huma, hum, hiya, huma, hunna, anta, antuma, antum, anti, antuma, antunna. And when we are at the third person level, you can hear the ho. And then at the second person level, you are hearing ant. So anta, you, singular, masculine. Antuma, you, pair, masculine. Antum, you, plural, masculine. Anti, you, singular, feminine. And then antuma, you, pair, feminine. And antunna, you, plural, feminine. Okay? You know, in English, you have the you. But in Arabic, there are differences in the pronouns, right? The last level is very easy. The last level is only ana and nahnu. So just say ana, nahnu, finish. Ana, nahnu. I will explain why. Just say ana, nahnu. Ana, nahnu. That's all the pronouns in Arabic. So huwa, huma, hum, hiya, huma, hunna, anta, antuma, antum, anti, antuma, antunna, ana, nahnu. Ana, nahnu, because even though ana, at the ana level, the first person, we have singular and plural, as well as pair, singular, pair, plural, masculine, feminine, but singular, both masculine and feminine use ana. Okay? Singular, masculine, feminine, will both use ana. Whilst pair and plural, both masculine and feminine use nahnu. So that's how easy it is. So huwa, huma, hum, hiya, huma, hunna, anta, antuma, antum, anti, antuma, antunna, ana, nahnu. That is the end of pronouns in Arabic. Very easy, but just put this in mind. And if you have not yet done so, all pronouns that are having her are about the third person. Okay? And all pronouns that are having ant are about the second person, either singular, pair, plural, masculine, or feminine. And the last line, which is ana and nahnu, they are very peculiar because they are different. With the hamza ana and nahnu, there are only two types. For singular, masculine and feminine, all of them will say ana. Okay? And for the pair and plural, masculine and feminine, they will all say nahnu. And that's why it's not difficult to know the last line. However, how do we differentiate between them? It depends on the context, as we say. Okay? The context of the language will let you know that this nahnu means both of us. And this nahnu means all of us. And that nahnu means we masculine, all of us. Sorry. Yes, we masculine, all of us. Or we feminine, all of us. Okay? So those are the pronouns. And I would now go back to my slides and then look for a volunteer. Any volunteer? Any volunteer to read me the pronouns? I hope you can hear me. I hope I haven't been talking to myself. The pronouns. Any volunteer to look at the pronouns for us? Any volunteer to look? Hey, nobody is raising his hand. Ah, seems easy trouble. Oh, Kamal. Okay, okay, very interesting. Okay, very good, very good. That's quite good to see. Kamal, you will give me the opportunity to call on to Amina Hassan. Amina Hassan, please, you can unmute yourself and take me through the pronouns. Amina Hassan, please unmute yourself and take me through the pronouns. Very good, thank you.
Assalamu alaikum
Wa alaikum assalam. Wa alaikum assalam, sister, how are you?
Alhamdulillah.
Very good. So according to our arrangements, right, you are going to take me through all the pronouns.
Okay.
Do that quickly. You have 30 seconds to do that.
Huwa huma hum. Hiya huma hunna. Anta antuma antum. Anti antuma antunna. Ana nahnu.
Very good. Very good. And I hope the book is not in front of you.
No.
Very good. Thank you. Okay, then we'll try again. Again.
Huwa huma hum. Hiya huma hunna.
What line is that? What line is those two lines? How do we call the person there? A shakhs.
Third person.
Very good. Go to the second line.
Anta antuma antum. Anti antuma antunna.
What person's line is that?
Second person.
Very good. Go to the last line.
Ana nahnu.
Ana nahnu. Very good. Now tell me, if you want to give me a pronoun for a third person feminine plural, what do you say? Third person feminine. Aidan, plural.
Antunna.
Very good. First person singular masculine.
Ana.
Third person pair feminine.
Antuma.
Third person. Any here
time you hear Huma.
Very good. Very good. And then second person pair masculine. Second person pair masculine.
Second person pair masculine. Antuma.
Very good. And then second person pair feminine.
Antuma.
Very good. Give me the first person masculine.
Ana.
Give me third person pair masculine.
Antum.
Third person.
Third person.
Pair masculine.
Huma.
Very good. What is the meaning of hunna?
Hunna. Third person feminine.
Yes. What does it mean in English?
It means a female.
Yes. What is the name of that pronoun? How do you mention that pronoun how do you translate it? Yes.
Them.
Again?
Them.
It is a they.
They.
Yes, them is an attached pronoun. Okay? Damir muttasil.
Okay.
These are damir munfasil. So they. Very good. Now you are going to take me through again. But now look at my line. Now look at my mouse. Okay? If I'm to divide this mouse into 3 lines, that line, and that line. And then I say the whole of this first line is for the third person. And then the whole of the second line is for the second person. And then the whole of the third line is for the first person. Sorry, for the first person, yes. Right? So we have 3 lines, but in each line there are 2 lines. Do you agree?
Na'am.
Yeah, and in those
Yes.
two lines, we have masculine and
Feminine.
feminine. Very good. Now, this makes it easy for us to get these pronouns on our minds and dividing them into the huwa, huma, hum, hiya, huma, hunna, all the ones starting with ha as the third person, and all those ones starting with ant for the second person, and then the last one is the ana, nahnu. What do you think? How do you think it makes it easy really for us to take up?
Hello?
Yeah, I hope you are well.
The last line you said.
Come again?
The last line, the last sentence you made.
Yes, the last, no, I'm saying, how do you find it now that you have taken it up like this compared to how you knew it before?
This is better.
Yes, in what is the addition? I mean, I know you know these pronouns, but what have you added to your knowledge now?
The tabulation.
Very good, very good. Yes, I also did same. I realized that tabulation made it easy for me to also take them up. Yes, and inshallah for all of us. Jazakallah anna kulla khair. Thank you so very much. And so from here, I will take Hawa Muhammad. Is it Hawa M? Hawa M, can you unmute yourself? Amina, thank you. You can mute yourself, please. Hawa M. What is the M? Okay. Can you unmute yourself? Wa alaikum salam rahmatullah. How are you? Wa alaikum salam. Okay. Yes, yes. Hawa, please take us through the pronouns.
Okay. The third person pronouns is huwa, huma, hum.
Yes.
Hiya, huma, hunna.
Then
the second person pronoun is anta, antuma, antum. Then anta, anti, antuma, antunna. And the first person pronoun is ana and nahnu.
Ana and nahnu. Very good. So what is
ana and nahnu?
What are the things that you make to differentiate between the second person and first and third person?
The her, the her and the ant.
Very good. The her and the ant. Very important. I just needed you to, needed to share this with you so that at least you have something we call the markers. You know, it's one of the markers that we hold on to in identifying some of these pronouns. Okay. So thank you very much. But let me ask you again. Can you give me a pronoun that is of a third person plural masculine? What pronoun is that? Third person plural masculine.
That's whom.
Aidan?
Whom.
Very good. Give me the third person plural feminine.
Third person masculine. That's whom. Hunna.
Very good. Give me the first person feminine singular.
Here.
First person, first.
Okay, first person, Anna.
Anna, very good. Give me second person pair. Second person pair masculine.
Yeah.
Second person pair masculine.
Antuma.
Antuma, very good. Give me
Antuma.
give me third person singular feminine. Third person singular feminine.
Feminine singular. That's nahnu.
Third person.
Feminine. Okay. Yeah. Please repeat the question.
Third person singular feminine. Third.
Hunna.
Third person singular feminine.
Singular?
Yes. Feminine.
Okay, antun.
Here.
Antunna. Okay.
Third person. Yes, third. Yes, third person singular feminine is here.
Okay, here.
Yes, it's here. Very good. Okay, give me all the second person line quickly. All the second person line from Anta.
Anta, antuma, antum. Anti, antuma, antunna.
Give me all the third person from the top.
Huwa, huma, hum. Hiya, huma, hunna.
Give me the first persons.
أنا نحن.
Very good. Perfect. Thank you very much, Sister Hawa. Jazakillah anna khulla khair. We will keep it here. And thank you so much. At least for this, we have taken the pronouns and we will come back shortly in the next 3 minutes again to start the topic of today proper. Okay? Stay on. Jazakumullah anna khulla khair. Assalamu alaikum.
Allah sarki. Allah sarki. Lokaci ya yi. Don muna tare da ita a asibiti. Dukansu sa'ade da murji.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Thank you very much for holding on. So let's go ahead with our slides together. Now we have done the pronouns. So let me share this with you now. Okay, these are the pronouns that we were talking about earlier. Okay. I hope you can all hear me, please. Can you hear me? Just be sure. Let me be sure. Can you hear me, please? Okay. Okay. Good. Okay. Now, these are the pronouns that we spoke about just a few minutes back. That we have all learned, and this line we said, these two lines we said are for the third person, and that is huwa, huma, hum, hiya, huma, hunna, and then anta, antuma, antum, anti, antuma, antunna are for the second person, and then ana, nahnu, nahnu, or ana, nahnu, basically are for the third person, right? Now, these pronouns that we have just learned, are known as the independence pronouns. So they are all independent. Independent means they stand alone, right? And don't forget what I said earlier on, and I'm going to share another table for you to see how they work. These two lines that is having the ha, 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 they are all called the third person line. And then these two lines, they are the second person line, and this line is the third person line. By the way, this person line is also masculine and feminine. We just shortened it with the masculine line just to say that the same thing is used for the feminine, okay? Else we could have said ana, nahnu, nahnu, ana, nahnu, nahnu. So we just shortened it and said ana, nahnu. But in context, you understand what we mean. However, the idea that these are independent pronouns Very important. Now note this, note, very important here. These words are as isms, okay? These words are isms. Their status is always rafa. Their status is always rafa. Don't forget, anytime you see any of this, it is in rafa status. Okay. The other thing for us to know is that, what about the number? How do we identify the number? It's very easy. These ones are singular. These ones are pair. These ones are plural. Isn't that very easy? Oh, sorry. So that is the number. So singular, pair, plural. What about the gender? Of course, this line is masculine. This line is feminine. This line is masculine. This line is feminine. This line is both for masculine and feminine. So S status rafa, number per context, gender per context. Okay, what about type? Type. The type is that all the pronouns are proper. So you see, all the pronouns are rafa, all the pronouns are proper, but the number and gender will be determined by the pronoun. Isn't that interesting? What about the person? The person is that all those ones, the first two lines are third person, all the second two lines are second person, and the last line is first person. So that is, I mean, this is really systematic, isn't it? That you are able to know the PSNGT of the pronoun, so that when you are defining a pronoun, two things are common for all of them, and that is the status and the type. The status is rafa, and then the type is proper. Okay, the number, depending on the pronoun, you will know. Okay, the number, this is singular, these are plural, pair, and these are plural. The gender, of course, depending on which line. The first two lines are, the first line of all the lines, or the first line of each of the levels, let's call them levels. First line of each of the levels is masculine. So this one is masculine, this one is masculine, and this one is also masculine. The second line of each level is feminine. This one is feminine, this one is feminine, and of course, this one is also feminine. It's very important for you to understand the pronoun. In fact, we say it is the backbone of the language, because if you miss this, your language itself, you understanding the who did what inside pronouns will have an issue. Okay, good. The last thing I will talk about regarding pronoun is that pronouns are divided into two: the independent, which are these ones, and then the attached, ضمائر المتصلة. Okay, the pronoun that are attached. So which means each of these pronouns have their equivalent attached pronoun. Oh, really? Yes. Don't forget that. Each of these are all independent, ضمائر منفصلة. They all have attached equivalents, or each one can be attached to a kalima, and then it will take a certain shape. How do you identify them? Well, attached means he is attached to another kalima. So it can be attached to a harf, it can be attached to a fail, and it can be attached to any other ism. So they can be attached to any kalima, right? When they are attached to a kalima, we say they are attached pronoun, ضمائر متصلة. Okay, now the question comes, okay, what is the difference between the dhamir munfasil and muttasil, or the difference between the independent pronouns and the attached? The difference is only one with regards to the status. These independent ones are always rafa, but the attached pronouns cannot be rafa. It can either be nasb or jar. Nasb or jar, depending on the context. So every attached pronoun can be nasb or jar. Now, what are these attached pronouns? What are they? How do they look like? So huwa, for instance, The attached equivalent for, okay, let me just take this one off and let's try typing them here. I will distort this particular data a little bit now. Okay, I hope you can see because it's quite small for some of you, I know, but let's manage it like that. Or probably let me open another Word document to quickly see if we can do this together, because understanding the pronoun is very, very critical. Okay, so maybe let's use this Word document. Okay. Can you see my screen? I'm sharing you a Word document where we will type all the pronouns and see how the attached pronouns work. But with this, bear with me, I'm not going to show you the, we are not going to do the, okay, somebody's saying something. I want to see who somebody's saying what. Okay. Okay, very good. So let's do this now. So if we say this is hua, the equivalent attached pronouns is who or he. Who or he. Who or he. Okay, let me take I think I even have a slide of it. Let me not spend the time here. Okay. Okay, very good. I have it here. So let's look at the pronouns and their attached equivalent. Okay, I hope you can see my screen now. Good. Okay, now look at how it looks like on this particular table. So these are what we have just learned, right? Look at this table from the right, okay? From the right side, okay? The persons are third person, second person, first person, okay? And each third person, for instance, third person has masculine line and feminine line. Second person has the masculine line and the feminine line. And then the first person has both the masculine and feminine lines, right? Okay. And in each person's, there are these hua. Okay, so this is what we have learned. Hua, huma, hum. Here, huma, hunna. Anta, antuma, antum. Anti, antuma, antunna. Ana, and then nahnu. But look at the attached equivalent. Hua, hu, he. Huma, huma, hima. Hum, him. Here, ha. Huma, huma, hima. Hunna, hunna, hinna. Anta, ka. Antuma, kuma. Antum, kum. Anti, ki. Antuma, kuma. Antunna, kunna. Ana, I or ni. And then nahnu, na. Okay? So this is what I wanted to share, that if there is an attached pronoun, then the attached pronoun can either be in nasb or jar status. Now note, nasb or jar status is a status. This rafa, it has nothing to do with the rafa and nasb. Nasb and jar means it's either an object or a victim, or it's a word that is after of in translation. So that is the meaning of nasb and jar. So you can see the who, he only if the pronoun is in nasb or jar status. But if the pronoun is in rafa status, then it has to be the independent pronouns, okay? The attached pronouns are only in the status of nasb or jar. Okay, but you need to also memorize these attached ones. Okay, so who, he, huma, hima, whom, him, ha, huma, hima, hunna, hinna, ka, kuma, kum, ki, kuma, kunna, I, ni, and then na. Okay, and what I was trying to say earlier is that a pronoun is always used to identify or to stand instead of an ism, right? And so when we say we understand the huwa, huma, hum, here, huma, hunna, anta, antuma, antum, anti, antuma, antunna, what we are saying is that anytime they stand alone, for instance, huwa Allahu alladhi la ilaha illa huwa. So huwa there would be in rafa status because it's standing alone. That's what it means. It's in rafa status. Okay, lahu ma fi samawati. So that who can only be either in jar or nasb status because it is attached. Lahu ma fi samawati. But in this case, it is in jar status because of the la. We will come to learn what the huruful jar are. Okay, so basically, the huwa, huma, hum, here, huma, hunna, anta, antuma, antum, anti, antuma, antunna. Those pronouns, they have their attached equivalent. So huwa is who, he. Huma, huma, hima. Whom, him. Here, ha. Okay? Huma, huma, hima. Hunna, hunna, hinna. Anta, ka. Antuma, kuma. Antum, kum. Anti, ki. Antuma, kuma, antunna, kunna, and then ana. Either e or ni, and then nahnu is na. Now, these pronouns, as I said, the attached ones can either be in nasb or jar status. Note this, very important. I'm sure for all of you, most of you who know the nahaw, in teaching the dama'ir, these kinds of arrangements need to be put in place to make it easy for the child to understand. That pronouns that are independent are all in rafa status. Those that are attached can either be in nasb or jar status depending on the context. But the who, he. Now, what about the who, he? Why is it who, he, not only who? Or huma, hima, or hunna, hinna? What is the who and he? Why difference between the two? Those ones has to do with the more of the language itself. It says that any pronoun that comes attached to a word that ends with kisra, then the attached pronoun will be he instead of who. But if the last letter of the word to which the pronoun is attached to has fatah or dhamma, then the pronoun attached would be who. I hope there's no confusion here. Again, what I'm saying here is, for instance, you say rabbuhu, but rabbihi. Rabbuhu and rabbihi. But grammatically, the i'rab of the who and he there is the same. It's mudaf ilay, majroor, finish. The who and the ha and the he is all the same. So rabbahu and rabbihi, they are all fi mahall jar. Even though this one is who, this one is he. But what caused the who and he is what I've just explained. Because rabbu is having, ba is having dhamma, so it will take who instead of the he. If it is rabbi, then it will be he instead of the who. So you don't say rabbi who, for instance. Okay? And the same thing with the huma and him. Sorry, huma, hima, and whom. Whom, him, and then hunna, hinna. Okay? That is all for the pronoun, and I hope we have learned something here. Let me go quickly and share the slides, and for us to do our last part of today's discussion. So pronouns are of two types. This is what we said. Independent pronouns always in rafa status. Hey, I hope you can see my screen. Oh, can you see my screen, please? Can you see my screen? Pronouns are of pronoun. Yes. I needed to stop on pronoun because, if I finish with pronoun, I'm done. If you understand pronoun really, because even at the highest level of this language, even doctors and professors, when it comes to understanding how to manipulate the who, he, huma, anti, here, who, and then the attached, you need to slow down, right? They are of two types, the pronoun. الضمائر على قسمين. الضمائر على قسمين. The pronouns are of two types. Okay. Independent pronouns, they are always in rafa status. And attached pronouns, they can be in nasb when attached to a fail, and in jar status when attached to an ism or harf of jar. I hope that is clear. These are the pronouns that we were struggling to get in our minds. Huwa, huma, hum, iya, huma, hunna, anta, antuma, antum, anti, antuma, antunna, ana, and nahnu. All those ones that I've just read are in rafa status. These ones, who, he, huma, hima, whom, him, ha, huma, hima, hunna, hinna, ka, kuma, kum, and then ki, kuma, kunna, are all in the second person and attached. And then e and ni, they are all, and na are also in the nas status. Okay. Now, let me just share something with you. You see the attached pronouns for the hua level and here level. They are all having the ha 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 ha. Have you realized that? All the attached are also having the ha 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 ha. But in the second person, instead of having the ta 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 ta, it's having ka 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 ka, like the small chicken. Ka 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 ka. So ka kuma kum and ki kuma kunna. Isn't that interesting? So anywhere you start hearing ka, rabbukum, rabbuka, rabbukuma, rabbukum, rabbukunna, ka 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 is about second person, but attached. But if it is independent, you will hear the ant. Isn't that interesting? Now let's quickly explain this e and ni. E and ni are attached pronouns when ana is supposed to be attached to an ism, then it will have e, like Rabbi. But if it is attached to a fi'il, then it wouldn't be e. You can't say darabai, but you will say what? Darabani. Okay? So ni is always in nasb status and e is always in jar status. But na can always be can be either in nasb or jar. I mean, all the attached pronouns can be in nasb or jar, except the e and ni. The e is always in jar status, and the ni is always in nasb status. What it means is that the e can only be attached to an ism, the ni can only be attached to a fi'l. So anytime you hear ni, then the attached word or word attached to is a fi'l. But whenever you hear e, then the word attached to is an ism. Okay? And the third person here, second person here, the first person here. I like to say it here because pronouns are key. Now, today's lesson is this one. I have about 20 minutes, I think, to go. Yes. But I want you to note that I'm not going to spend more time on fragments because of one reason. Because of one reason. I'm already done with isms. So all what you have to know here is that there are 5 fragments in Arabic. 5 fragments in Arabic. Mudaf mudaf ilayhi, mawsuf sifa, jarun wa majrur, inna wa asma'iha wa inna wa akhwatiha wa asma'iha, and then ismul ishara wal mushar ilayhi. These are the 5 fragments. They are known as al-murakkabat al-naqisa, or what you can call shibh jumla. Okay? They are 5 in Arabic, and you need to know them. They are either ism and ism coming together to form one concept, or a harf and an ism coming together to form one concept. There is no fail here. Fail is not involved in all the fragments. Fragments are about ism. So there are 3 types of the ism. And there are 2 types of the harf ism. These are the 5 fragments in Arabic. And this is the second strata of our structure. You remember the structure? We have finished the kalima, part of the kalima. We are left to only fail to explain. We have dealt with ism and harf so far, in a way, but we are left with fail at that level. We will leave it, but we'll go to the second strata, which is the fragment, and we are going to treat fragments. Why? Because fragments are mostly isms. Fragments are mostly isms, and that's why we are treating it just after understanding all our isms. I hope that is also clear. So don't forget, we have 3 stratas in Arabic: kalima strata, the fragment strata, and then the jumla strata, or the sentence strata. We are now in the fragment strata. I'm not going to stay here long because I'm going to just give you the slides. Go and read them in your books, and then you do your exercises on the Edmodo. But I would like to plead with my fellow learners. Please, please, ensure you enroll on the Edmodo platform and do the quizzes. If you don't do the quizzes, I assure you the concepts that we are sharing is not going to sit well with you. Believe me, a lot of work was done to put those quizzes together, and those quizzes are going to help you transform or transfer this knowledge to others. Else, just accept, maybe you are just doing this for yourself. If you are doing this for yourself alone, I don't mind you only listening to the video or doing this live session. But if you really want to get this subject, you need to do your Edmodo exercises. No two ways about it. And for those who are able to go through and do more than 80%, there's a special certificate for them and other incentives. So please go, try doing that for the benefit of yourself, for the benefit of the time given you by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and because we are all going to be questioned about it, right? Okay, that is just by the way of motivation to myself and all. Now, these are the fragments, murakkabat naqisa, okay? And they are idafa, number one. What is idafa? It has some rules. Idafa rule says that the mudaf is always before of, and it should be light, no alif and lam. Mudaf, the mudaf of that, this concept of what, when you say mudaf, mudaf ilayh, there are two isms coming together, but they form one concept, and they are considered one. And that's why in the Arab, one of them will have the status, but the other doesn't have a status in Arab. The other one is la mahalla lahu min al-i'rab. فالمضاف إليه دائما لا محل له من الإعراب. Mudaf ilayh has a status in the sentence, but mudaf ilayh no, because they both form one concept. Right? So we say mudaf is light, has no alif and lam. Whilst mudaf ilayhi, which is the word after of, should always be in jar status. Very important. دائما مضاف إليه في حالة الجر. لكن المضاف قد يكون قد يكون فاعل أو مفعول به. It can be mubtada, it can be khabar. It can take a position, but mudaf ilayh would always be in jar status. And no long distance is allowed. You can't separate between mudaf ilayh. They are always together. Okay? So, Rabbul Bayt, for instance, Rabbu al-Bayti is mudaf, Rabbu is mudaf, and al-Bayt mudaf ilayh. Kitabullahi, Kitabu is mudaf, and Lahi is mudaf ilayh. So, Kitabu is light. You see Kitabu, not Kitabun. Because normally, every nakira ism supposed to be what? Heavy. So you say Kitabun, Baytun, Mazrasatun. But when you say Kitabullahi, you make it light. Why? Because it is mudaf, right? So that is mudaf and mudaf ilayhi, and that is the rule, or that is the concept regarding that. Okay. The code for the Edmodo class. Okay, I'm sure the TAs are there to share the code with you. Inshallah, they can post it on the screen for you. Inshallah. Okay. Now let's look at the last thing about idafa. The type of mudaf is indicated by the mudaf ilayh. Now note this. What is type? You realize we have two types. An ism has two types, either common or proper. Now this particular rule, the last one says the mudaf takes its type from the mudaf ilayh. So if the mudaf ilayh is proper, then the mudaf will automatically be proper. If the mudaf ilayh is common, the mudaf would also be common because it's already common. So when I say Kitabullahi, because Allah is proper, because it's a common name, right? It's a proper name, then Kitabu becomes proper. So Kitabullahi will be translated the book of Allah. Why is it the book? Whilst it's not written Al-Kitab, because Allah is proper. And there is a relationship of what? Idafa. So anytime there is idafa, the mudaf would become proper if the mudaf ilayhi is proper. That's the very important point here. That's all I think about idafa. Although there is a last point here. Both mudaf and mudaf ilayhi should be isms. Very important. Mudaf and mudaf ilayhi are always isms. Okay? That is So basic kinds of idafa. Idafa has three types. The first one is the idafa with the off translation. When you say Imamul Masjidi, mudafun mudafin ilayhi. Okay? Imamul Masjidi, it means Imam of the masjid. Where is the word of between these ones? It doesn't show. Of is one of the words that is never in Arabic. But in translation, it appears. How does it appear? It appears always in the concept of idafa between two isms. One is light, no alif and lam, followed by ism which is majroor. Okay. The second type of idafa is a pronoun attached to an ism. Anytime you see a pronoun attached to an ism, there is idafa. Baytuhu, rabbuhu, amaluhu, zawjuha, amaluha, baytuha, rabbuka, rabbuki, rabbukuma, ilahukum. All those attached pronouns are mudaf ilayh. The last one here says special mudafs. There are certain words that are known as special mudafs. Anytime they come, they are the adverbs of place and time. Okay, like tahta, fawqa, bayna, amama, quddama, wara'a, and so on. They are known as special mudafs. Why? Because they are always mudaf. You cannot see them without mudaf ilayh. That's why they are known as mudaf, special mudafs. Okay, so these are the three kinds of idafa that you can see in Arabic. Okay, very good. So these are the special mudafs. You can see them and they are in your books. Go and learn them well. Fawqa, tahta, duna, qabla, ba'da, bayna, inda, ma'a, hawla, amama, khalfa, ladun, qaddama, wara'a. And these ones are non-flexible. But these ones can be flexible. So you can say ba'du, ba'da, ba'di. Kullu, kulla, kulli, ghayru, ghayra, ghayri, ayyu, 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 ayya, ayyi. But these ones cannot be changed. Or sorry, their ending is the same. But they are all known as special mudafs. Very good. Now, there are something called al-asma al-khamsa. Now, the reason why I brought this asma al-khamsa, 5 special isms, are that their status is not determined by the things that we learned 2 days ago, or was it yesterday? And that is the un, ani, una, atun. You remember those ones? Okay, un, ani, una, atun. You remember them? Un, ani, una, atun, an, ina, ani, atin. An, ina, an, aini, ina, atin. And then in aini, ina, atin. Those endings do not apply in asma al-khamsa. What are these asma al-khamsa? You remember when I said the ending dhamma is not only the sign used for rafa. Okay, rafa can also be ani and una and atun and also wow. Okay, wow. Why wow? Is because of these ones, special isms. In case of rafa, these special isms, they use wow. For instance, this one, the word abun, akhun, hamun, famun, and zu. They're here. Okay. So abu, akhu, hamu, fu, and zu. These are the harfs. Okay. Sorry, the asma. They are special isms. Okay. They are special isms that in the rafa status, the waw indicates the rafa. And then the alif indicates the nasb. And then the ya indicates the jar. Okay. These are known as special isms. I needed to bring them here because though they are not clear in your books, but I needed to mention them so that sometimes you will come and tell me, well, here I cannot see the u or un. I cannot see the a or ani. I cannot see the e or ina. I cannot see the atun and atin, but I can see waw at the end and alif at the end and yaw at the end. Then you will say they are only for these special isms. Abun, akhun, hamun, zu, and fu, right? The first 4 can stand alone, but zu can always be mudaf. Okay? Zu doesn't stand alone. Okay? It's always mudaf. These are the only words that have the signs of their status different from all other isms. Their signs are different. is not the dhamma fataha kesra if they are mudaf ilayhi. So if, and for instance, if an idafa, sorry, if a word is attached to them, for instance, you say Abu Bakr if it is in rafa status, Aba Bakr if it is in nasb status, and Abi Bakr if it's in jar status. So hada Abu Bakr wa ra'aytu Aba Bakr wa marartu bi Abi Bakr. Okay, haza akhi wa haza akhi. Okay, my brother. Okay, haza akhi wa ra'aytu akhaka wa marartu bi akhika, and so on. So these special isms also need to be notified and known accordingly. The second kind of fragment is mawsuf sifa. What is mawsuf and what is sifa? A mawsuf sifa is simply an ism with an adjective to it. So waladun sagirun, waladun sagirun. Can't you see them? Waladun is an ism. Sagirun is an ism, but it says it's just a description of the waladun. So we said waladun is mawsuf and sagirun is a sifa. I'm sure a lot of you will say, why not sifa mawsuf? Why is it mawsuf sifa? This is very interesting. I need to explain this. In fact, if you say sifa mawsuf, you are speaking English. You are talking, I mean, you are going according to the English direction, because English always mentions the attribute or the adjective before the noun. So you say beautiful house, small boy, old man. But Arabic, mawsuf is mentioned before sifa. So you say waladun sagirun, baytun jamilun, rajulun ajuzun. So it is actually mawsuf sifa, not sifa mawsuf. Sifa mawsuf is adjective and ism, right? So that's why here it's called mawsuf sifa, and I'm sure a lot of you will take something here also that is better to say mawsuf sifa, because that is the arrangement of Arabic or the Arabic language. Now let's look at the rules of this particular fragment. This particular fragment, mawsuf sifa, the mawsuf will always come first. It's always first and it's only one word. The mawsuf can only be only one word. The sifa, it has the same property like the mawsuf. So if the sifa is rafa, when I say property, I mean SNGT. You remember that? SNGT, the status number gender type. So anytime the mawsuf is rafa, the sifa will be rafa. If the mawsuf is mufrad, the sifa will be mufrad. If the mawsuf is nakira, the sifa will be nakira. If the mawsuf is mudhakkar, the sifa will be mudhakkar. So waladun sagirun. Waladun is what? Rafa, singular, masculine, common. Sagirun is the same thing. Rafa, masculine, singular, common. So that's the meaning of having the same property. And it always comes after mawsuf. You can't see the sifa before the mawsuf. Okay? The sifa will always be after the mawsuf. And maybe more than one. You can have more than one sifa. Rajulun, sagirun, zaki. Okay? It can be like that. Okay? And it can tolerate a long distance, which means you can put some words between the mawsuf and the sifa. It allows distance. It allows a word to come between them. Unlike mudaf, mudaf ilayh. Mudaf, mudaf ilayh don't allow anything to come between them. Isn't that interesting? Like that poem that says, لا تنهى عن خلق وتأتي مثله عار عليك إذا فعلت عظيم. So عار and عظيم. So عار عليك إذا فعلت عظيم. So عار and عظيم are actually mawsuf and sifa, but those alayka iza fa'alta came between them, and it is allowed, right? But you just have to detect it where it is. So it means that mawsuf sifa can allow distance. Okay, very important information there. The mawsuf is never a pronoun or a pointer word or relative pronoun. So you cannot see mawsuf that is what? A pronoun. A mawsuf can never be a pronoun. And mawsuf can never be ismul ishara, and mawsuf can never be ismul mawsul. I don't need to go through this. Sifa can never be isma alam. That means a proper name. A sifa cannot be also dhamir, and a sifa cannot be ismul ishara. But a sifa can be ismul mawsul. That's very important. Okay? I'm sure all of you know this point. And look out for the non-human broken plural and their feminine sifa. Don't forget that. For instance, when I say al-kutubu as-saghira, al-kutubu as-saghira, this is mawsuf and this is the sifa, the small books, right? Why is it saghiratun? Because this word al-kutub is treated as feminine. Don't forget that. Even though the singular word is kitabun, masculine. Because here we said both of them must have the same properties. However, yes, this one is rafa, this one is rafa. This one is common, this one is, sorry, this one is proper, this one is proper. This one is feminine and this one is feminine. Who said this one is feminine? Somebody will say, well, kitabun is not feminine, kitabun is masculine, but the plural is a broken plural. Kutubun, and kutubun is treated as feminine. So you say here, so hadihi kutubun. You don't say haulai kutubun. Okay, so that's how here it says haqaibu jamila. Haqaibun jamila. This is common, rafa. But this one is feminine and this one is feminine. How is this one feminine? Yes, it is a broken plural. Haqibatun and haqaibun. Even though in this case the singular form is even feminine. Okay, so that's what we say, that you should be very careful about the sifa and mawsuf, particularly if the mawsuf is a broken plural. And these are some of the exercises. I would not like to go through here. Tomorrow, inshallah, we'll do that. Let's look at the last but one fragment. Harf jar and the victim. This one is very easy because I know a lot of you know it. Jar wa majroor. Jar wa majroor is the third kind of fragment. Jar wa majroor. We all know them. All what we have to know is the huruful jar. What are the huruful jar? The huruful jar are if we needed to put this in our minds also. Listen to me very carefully. I want to say something and say it after me. Ba, ta, ka, la, wa. So quickly say that. Batakalawa. Batakalawa. No, it's not. I'm not speaking Hausa or Batakalawa. It's Bata. Batakalawa. That's what I'm saying. So Batakalawa. Minfi'an. Minfi'an. Aidan. Minfi'an. Ala hatta ila. Ala hatta ila. So Batakalawa minfi'an ala hatta ila is in the form of a song. Batakalawa minfi'an ala hatta ila. These are the huruf al-jar in the Quran. These are the 11 harf of jar that happened or occurred in the Quran. Go and learn how to just put them in your minds like that. Batakalawa minfi'an ala hatta ila. Batakalawa minfi'an ala hatta ila. You can even go to someone and say, look, have you ever heard this Arabic expression before? Batakalawa minfi'an ala hatta ila. So what are you speaking? What language is this? Yes, it is Arabic. These are the huruful jar, okay, that occurred in the Quran. There are other huruf al-jar, but these ones are the main ones that we are going to learn. Now, what it says here is that anytime you see one of the batakalawa minfi'an ala hatta ila, if you see them in front of an ism, or before an ism, let's say, before an ism, if any of this huruf al-jar occur before an ism, that harf and the ism form one concept. So, fi sabili, the jar wa majroor is one concept. That is jar wa majroor. That is one fragment, okay, in Arabic. So, the harf of jar, they put the ism after them in the status of jar. That's what we say. And no long distance is allowed. Jar and majroor don't allow any word between them. Very important. There are 17 of the harfs of jar. We will learn only 11 that occurred in the Quran, as we have just learned. Batakalawa minfi'an ala hatta ila. The harf of jar is called jarun. And the ism that makes it jar, or that causes is made jar, is called majrurun. So anytime we hear jar or majrur, this is one other fragment in Arabic, okay? These are the huruf al-jar. Batakalawa minfi'an ala hatta ila. So, batakalawa minfi'an ala hatta ila. Believe me, this is how I got to know it. and I kept it in mind. Formally, when I ask, give me the huruf al-jar, I'll start saying min, ila, fi, baw. But you know, just put batakalawa. Put it in, write it in English letters. Batakalawa. Min fi an, ala hatta ila. And then memorize them. You are done with all the huruf al-jar, inshallah. Okay. So now, these are some of the notes. You can see them in your book. I don't want to go through this because my time is fast spent, but they are very, very important notes, right? About harf jar. Of course, if you go back here, look at these huruf al-jar. A lot of them, you know them, like wa and ba and ta, and the meaning. You know, some of them are used for swearing in Quran. Bi and ta and wa. Okay? Like when the Hausa man will say the last point of rantsuwa is wallahi, tallahi, billahi lazi. So the wa and ta and ba are here representatives. They are all huruf al-jar, okay? But they are known as huruf al-qasam, okay? And they explain some of the attributes of harf al-jar here. He said when an attached pronoun, when attached to a pronoun, the lam, which is the harf al-jar, okay, is always la. But when it's attached to an ism, when it's attached to a particular ism is pronounced la. Otherwise, it will always be li, or the other way around rather. Li rasulin, but lakum. You don't say likum, you say lakum, because this one is a pronoun, okay, and the lam is attached to it. So we say lakum, not likum. But this is li rasuli. Okay, so anytime it's attached to a pronoun, it's pronounced la, but if it's attached to any ism, it is pronounced li. And don't confuse this particular la and the harf of emphasis. There's difference between harf of emphasis like lanahnu and lana. Lana is harf jar, but lanahnu is an lam of emphasis, okay? And don't confuse also the waw, which is harf of atf, and then the waw of qasam. Waw al-qasam always comes at the beginning of the word to show swearing, whilst waw al-ataf is coming between two words to connect. And then the issue of min and an as huruf al-jar. Anytime they come with and attached to ma, they are made mimma. They are written like this, or amma. The noon drops. Okay, these are all notes for you to be careful. Or, and again, ila and ala. Ila and ala. Anytime they are attached to a pronoun, the ya will take sukun, like ilayka and alayka. Okay. These are some of the exercises. The fourth fragment is harf nasb and its victim. Like inna, anna, ka'anna, bi'anna, layta, la'alla, and lakinna. These ones, I'm sure you all know them. And they form a fragment with the ism after them. So, adawat nasb or inna wa akhwatuha, anytime you see them with the ism after them, they form one fragment. Somebody will say, but what about kana wa akhwatuha? No, kana is a fail madi naqis, right? So it's not, we're talking about here about isms. That's why we don't put kana and here. So inna and the ism after it, or the victim of the inna, are also a fragment. And the harf of nasb makes the ism after it what? Nasb. Like inna, anna, ka'anna, bi'anna, lakinna, layta, la'alla. Okay? And they can also tolerate distance. You can put something between inna and the ism. Okay? And a kalima can come after that. Very good. So these are the harf of nasb. Inna, anna, ka'anna, bi'anna, lakinna, layta, and la'alla. Very important part of this language. Okay? These are some notes. Also, you can go and learn them about inna and anna and how you can drop the noon can merge together. When you say inna, it means innana. Inni, it means innani. Okay? Like alladhina yaquluna rabbana innana. So you can separate them and you can put them together. Like inna is innana, like this one. So it can sometimes be separated and it can sometimes be put together. Like here also, inni and innani, they are all the same. Okay? Inna and the ism. It's a fragment. These are some exercises. The last fragment is ismul ishara and mushar ilayh. Last fragment. And I'm getting rested. Okay. The last fragment is ismul ishara and mushar ilayh. What is ismul ishara? Ismul ishara is a pointer word, or what we call the demonstrative pronoun. Hada, hadani, haulai, dhalika, tilka, ulaika. Those ones. Anytime you see them with an ism after them, they constitute what? Fragment. Pointer word. To make a fragment, the pointer must be followed by an alif and lam. A fragment can always happen if after the pointer word, there is an ism that is having alif and lam. That's what it means here. So, ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابِ is a fragment. It's not a sentence. ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابِ is not a sentence, it's a fragment. But ذَلِكَ كِتَابٌ is a sentence. So when we say fragment, we mean the pointer word plus a word that is having alif and lam. It makes one concept, a fragment called Ismul Ishara wal Mushar Ilay. Now, 4 properties of the pointer and the pointed at Ismul Ishara wal Mushar Ilay have to match, like the Mawsuf Sifa. They have to also match. Rafa, singular, singular, masculine, masculine, common, and so on. So it has to match. All the 4 properties must match. To make a sentence, just remove the alif and lam. Okay? When I say Hazal walad, it's not a sentence, it's a fragment. You have to complete. Hazal walad is a fragment. But Hadha waladun is a sentence. That's what it means here. And these are the demonstrative pronouns. Hadha, hadani haulai, and then hadhihi, hatani haulai. Now note, where you are having it in white are masculine and are in rafa status. And the whole of this the whole of this box is for masculine. So hadha, hazani haulai, hadhihi, hatani haulai. They are, hadhihi, hatani haulai. This is all for near, rather. Near. If the thing is far, you say zalika, dhanika, ulaika, and tilka, tanika, ulaika in rafa status. If it is in nasb status, then it will be hadha, hazaini, haulai, and hazihi, hataini, haulai, and tilka, tanika, and ulaika. Okay, these are what are known as asma'ul ishara. Anytime you see them, they and the ism after them constitute a fragment. Okay, and this is the use. Some of the example of how to use asma al-ishara. فَلْيَعْبُدُوا رَبَّ هَذَا الْبَيْتِ. So هَذَا الْبَيْتِ is a fragment. في هَذِهِ الْحَيَاةِ. هَذِهِ الْحَيَاةِ is a fragment. هَذَا الْقُرْآنِ is a fragment. Okay? But when you say تِلْكَ حُدُودُ اللَّهِ, تِلْكَ حُدُودُ, this one is a sentence. أُولَٰئِكَ أَصْحَابُ is a sentence. هَذِهِ نَاقَةُ is a sentence. So why is this a sentence and those ones fragments? Because the word after the Ismul Ishara in this case is having the alif and lam. And that makes it fragments. Okay? These are some of the examples that tomorrow we will come and practice, and make sure that you come tomorrow so that we look at a lot of the practice with regards to proper. Okay, proper and common. Quickly regarding proper and common. You know, when we say proper and common, we mean nakira and ma'rifa. Okay, nakira and ma'rifa. This one goes to Kulthum. Yes, proper and common means ma'rifa and nakira. Okay, now proper, every ism is common. Kull al-asma nakira. Proper common means indefinite, like a boy, a girl, a house, waladun, baytun, imra'atun. To make it common, you need to, that word need to go through 7 things. Either the easiest one is to put alif and lam on it, then it becomes proper. Okay, the most common one. Okay, so baytun is common, so I say a house, but al-baytu is the house, so that makes it proper. And you can see the rest of the things that can make an ism proper. There are 7 of them that we have mentioned. Okay, I hope Kulthum is fine with that. And with this, sorry, I've taken more time of yours. Oh, tomorrow no class, oh, sorry. On Monday, we will come and we will do more of the revision. But mainly today, we have taken home all that has to do with ism, from the 4 properties to the special kind of ism, which is the pronoun, to the 5 special isms, the abun, ahun, hamun, zufu, and I mean, and also all the fragments that has to do with ism. Ism, like mawsuf sifa, mudaf, mudaf ilayhi, ism al-ishara wal mushar ilayhi. And then harf ism, like jar wa majroor and ism, inna and the isms. Inna and its sisters and the ism that comes after them. These are the fragments in Arabic. And this is all that the fragments take in Arabic. But don't forget this, my brothers and sisters. Don't forget this. What we have treated today is to finish with the first strata of the language and finish with the second strata of the language. We are finished with the kalimat and we are finished with the murakkabat naqisa, the words and the fragments. Fragments are more than one word, but less than a sentence. Okay? Fragments are more than one word, but less than a sentence. But when I say more than one word, I don't mean 3 words, but they are only 2, because 2 is not plural in Arabic. فإذا كانت الكلمة واحدة فهي كلمة، أما إذا كانت كلمتان فقد تكون مركبة ناقصة. مركبة ناقصة means 2 words coming together and form one concept, and there are 5 of them in Arabic. Note, very important: إضافة, موصوف صفة, جار ومجرور, اسم inna and its ism, or inna and the sisters and their ism, which means the word like inna, anna, ka'anna, bi'anna, layta, la'alla, lakinna, anytime you see them, plus the ism that comes after them. For instance, when you say ka'annahu huwa, so ka'annahu is a fragment. Inna Allaha alimun hakim. Inna Allaha is a fragment. Okay? لعل الله يحدث بعد ذلك أمرا. So لعل الله, both لعل and Allah is a fragment. Okay, they are treated as one, so that's why لعل الله becomes the mubtada. That's how we do the i'rab. Okay, inna alayna iyabahum, inna and alayna, both of them becomes inna and its ism, and so on. So these fragments are the chunk of the language. So anytime you see a language and we want to do the i'rab, the first thing you look at is what kinds of words are they? The second thing, do I have fragments in them? Then you come to realize what kind of sentence you are dealing with. And we will look at the sentences next week, inshallah. You will have a lot of Edmodo practices to do. Please, don't go to bed, don't go to sleep. I know you can go and rest, but attend the evening classes, attend the exercises, attend all the Zoom quizzes. Believe me, within these 10 days, you realize you have a different perspective about Arabic grammar, a different perspective. I am assuring you this because I have experienced it. Jazakumullah anna kulla khair. Thank you so very much for coming. And inshallah, we'll meet tomorrow. We'll meet on Monday at 10 a.m. GMT. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل أعوذ برب الفلق من شر ما خلق من شر غاسق إذا وقب ومن شر النفاثات في العقد ومن شر حاسد إذا حسد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله الناس من شر الوسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من الجنة والناس والله يعصمك من الناس. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. صلاة على النبي الكريم. اللهم صل على محمد وسلم. السلام عليكم.